So in the beginning, China was just chilling. They became extremely rich not because of industrialization like a lot of other countries, but because they had an extremely efficient agriculture system. They were also completely self-sufficient when it came to resources, so they didn't really like to trade with any other countries. So at the time, China was ruled by the Qing dynasty. The dominant religion was Confucianism. The Qing dynasty had its own social system, where those at the bottom of the list had to show respect and obedience towards those at the top. At the top of the list was the emperor. This was the guy in charge. He called the shots. Whatever he says goes. Right below him were his advisors. These were the people who the emperor trusted the most. They could even take the place of the emperor in his absence. Below them were the warriors, the guys on the battlefield, the people who gave their lives to protect their country. Below them were the scholars. If you couldn't become a soldier, your parents would make you go to school, study, and work hard so that you can become a scholar. Below the scholars were the peasants. These were the poor people, the bottom feeders. Unlike the caste system, people could actually move within the ranks. Like if you were a peasant and you worked hard enough, you could become a scholar. Confucianism was based on knowing your role in society and respecting those who have more wisdom and experience than you, such as honoring your mother and your father because they always know what's best for you. You know how Christians pray to God for forgiveness for their sins? Well, they didn't believe in that. They thought that you could improve your own life using the virtue within yourself, and that you didn't need a God to help you with that. However, the Chinese did believe in a political idea called the Mandate of Heaven. This stated that the emperor was chosen by a higher power. The British really wanted to trade with China because they had resources such as silk and tea, but China still didn't want to trade with anybody. But the British found this drug called opium. This drug was extremely addictive. Although China tried to ban it, the British found a way to smuggle it into the country. This forced China into trade with the British. Over time, China became almost like an opium deposit. By 1838, there were 40,000 chests worth of opium within the country. Opium was so addictive that even the withdrawal could kill you. That meant that once you started it, you couldn't stop it. This caused some serious internal conflict within China. They kept trying to ban opium, but the British kept smuggling it in, so it was impossible to get rid of the stuff. Eventually, China put its foot down. They wanted to stop the British and its opium, so they started the Opium War. Because of the advanced technology that the British had, they were able to completely destroy China. After winning the war, the British forced the Chinese to sign the Treaty of Nanjing. This was the first of many unfair treaties that the Chinese had to sign. The treaty stated that China owed millions of dollars of reparations and war debts to the British. The British also got complete control over Hong Kong. China had to open up several trading ports and gave the British complete freedom to trade in China. British citizens in China were also granted extraterritoriality, which means that they only had to follow the rules of their home country, and they didn't have to go to court in China. After losing the war, China was not the dominant power it once was. They were weak, crippled, and vulnerable. The economy suffered as well. Many countries began to follow Britain's example and forced China into signing unfair treaties just like the Treaty of Nanjing. They also split up China into different spheres of influence. These spheres of influence granted specific trading privileges in that area of China to that specific country. This kind of stopped when the US stepped in. The US established the open door policy, which supposedly got rid of the spheres of influence and made China a free market to everyone. In one final attempt to regain their sovereignty, a secret society called the Society of Righteous and Harmonious Fists fought against Western influence in China by killing foreigners and destroying foreign property. They set up forces around Beijing, which was the capital of China. This uprising was called the Boxer Rebellion. The Boxer Rebellion ended with the signing of the Boxer Protocol. The forts surrounding Beijing were destroyed. Boxer and Chinese government officials were punished, and China had to pay $330 million in reparations. Losing the Opium War had already crippled China's economy and weakened the control the government had. But losing the Boxer Protocol completely demolished China's economy and took away the little power the government had. The Qing dynasty finally fell when its last emperor, who was only 6 years old, renounced his place on the throne. China became a republic. Because of the economic hardships, there became two political parties that could not coexist within China. One of them was the Republic of China, which was a democracy. The other was the Communist Party of China, which was communist. After a civil war, the Communist Party of China, now known as the People's Republic of China, took over mainland China, and the Republic of China, which was still a democracy, took over Taiwan and other islands.